Hey everybody. Now this is creepy. I have my big flashlight. Thought we'd go for a walk. That dog is like way over the hill and over the next hill. Believe it or not. I guess they have him like outside and he ain't liking it. Thought we'd go for a walk. I have not been on in like forever. I don't know why he's gonna go drive around. I told him he didn't need to. Now he's gonna go check and see. But anyhow, I thought we'd come out and go for a walk. Now I'm all thrown off because of the dog barking kind of threw me off. Threw me off because, when I had food pantry, I went to put gas in my car, filled the tippy top full, and of course, all I did was drive from point A to point B. So my car pretty much still had full tank of gas. Never left this dooryard. And my car is literally, the front of it is like 4 feet from the front door. Maybe 5 tops. Okay? And it never left the dooryard, okay? I go to get in my car on the first of the month. Start it up. Start down the road, and I was like, well, holy cow. What's the deal with this? I was down 3/8 of a tank, guys. 3/8 of a tank. There's deer. Right there. Somebody had balls enough to come right up to the front door and steal gas out of my car. Okay. So why are we walking around in the pasture? The cows aren't here. Why are we walking around in the pasture in the middle of the night? Because I wanted to talk to everybody. I haven't been on here much. So, between the ice cold, the weather that we got, and the pouring down rain for days on end, which made everything a soupy mess. And it just looked like there was a glowing light across there. How strange. We have found, I was out here one night taking a video of the moon. I was coming back through and somebody was standing over there with a flashlight. So we've had to be real careful. A lot of things have come up missing. So we need a dog. We no longer have a dog that barks. Neighbor's dog barks, and it's way down there, like half a mile away, and you can hear it. Anyhow, and I'm probably stepping in cow pies. I want to talk to you about cryptids. And you're probably thinking, oh God, Laura's jumping on the cryptid thing. No, I have a history of cryptids. If you know anything about upstate New York, you know that it has a lot of history of cryptids, paranormal, yes, Bigfoot. So does Missouri, as I found out. And my brothers have all had some major cryptid experiences. And I'll have to look back, because my one brother's experience with cryptids was so terrifying that he never returned to that stone quarry. Definitely not alone. When he did return to it, it was only to retrieve all of his equipment. And that was it. That was it. It terrified him. I was pretty sure that I had that on one of my October vlog things, that story. But if not, I'll tell the story some other time, some other nighttime walk. But anyhow, I'm going to tell you a story about the cryptid that I saw here in Missouri about maybe 3 years ago. Might have been 4. Kind of lost track of time. It was kind of hot out, so it was either early summer or late summer. Either way, it was kind of dry. So I had been bringing Fritz back from doctors and grocery shopping kind of trip. About the only time he ever left the hills, if he had to get groceries or go to the doctors. And we had both seen it because, he lives on top of a hill on a gravel road. And there's only 2 houses on that little stretch of gravel road. And his was at the top. And then the road pretty much disappears because it just isn't a road after that. It's what they call a mud road. And I literally stopped the car because what was standing at the crest of the hill by his driveway was enormous. And it was I guess you call like a buckskin, like a reddish brown color. And it was just massive. And you could tell this creature had huge amount of strength. And the head of this animal, it came out of the pasture where the cows were, across the driveway or the roadway from his house. And it was just, the head was bigger than any dog I'd ever seen. And you could see the strength in this animal. And I knew it was big just by judging how high it stood from, because it paused and kind of looked around at us for a brief moment and just kept patting on like, okay, there's people. And then carried on its little merry way across his yard, right between his front door and the shop building, which is about maybe 20 feet between his front door and the shop. That was it. So anyhow, you could see how massive this creature was. And the way it walked was different. Okay? It was like its joints were articulated. Do you know what I mean by articulated? They didn't bend like a normal dog would or any other animal. They kind of like they pivoted more than like a normal joint would. And this animal, the neck and the head and the shoulders And the way, I mean, it was kind of dog-shaped, but yet it was just huge, bigger than any dog I'd ever seen. I'd put the car in park, and we were just sitting there with our jaws dropped watching it. And I was like, okay, the bugs are liking the light. Sorry. And I was like, he's like, what in the world was that? And I just kind of was like, okay. And he goes, okay, pull on up in, but don't go past where we saw it. And I was like, I'm not moving this car. I want to know how big that thing was. You go up there and you see if you can find some footprints. Okay, he fell for it. I was like, oh, he's never going to do this. Well, he did. He got out of the car. He scouted around kind of where we thought it passed, across the road in front of us. And he found one kind of full, not really a full footprint, because like I said, the ground was pretty hard in the dirt. And then he walked down around and couldn't find any more. So he stood with his feet straddling that footprint. There's more than one dog. And anyways, he turned around and he looks up at me and he goes, okay, tell me how tall this thing would have been. And I kept like waving out the window, up, up, up. This thing, you know, Fritz was like maybe 4'11". With his boots on, he was 5 foot. Okay. And I kid you not, when he stopped, what would have been the shoulders of this thing was to his armpits. So this thing would have stood head height to Fritz. Okay. That's how tall this creature was. Now, I've tried to draw it. I'm not that great at drawing things. Okay. The paw print, when he put his hand beside it, was enormous. Okay. His hand, I mean, he's got fairly big hands for a guy that was that size. But the paw print was the size of his hand. If the whole thing would have been there, it roughly would have been about the size of his hand. And Cobalt was inside and he was shaking. So he must have seen it. And for quite a while, we did not let Cobalt out of our sight while we took him out. And Fritz didn't go outside after dark, even though this was in broad daylight. And he did call everybody he knew around there, and they called everybody they knew. And nobody had a dog matching that description or have seen a dog matching that description. And everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows anybody that's got a dog that's going to be loose. People know each other's animals. So, you know, it wasn't like it was somebody's dog. But to see something that huge and the way it moved was very unique and very different. And you know, people say, oh, these things don't exist. You know, let me know if you've ever seen anything strange creature-wise, that you could not. The weather's changing, so hold on. Okay, I really did not mean to hit end. I tried to hit pause. I have no clue what that coughing fit was just now. I don't know if it's because I'm walking through. I mean, we have drought conditions, so even with all this rain, everything's still really dry. But holy cow, what was that all about? I literally about had an accident coughing out of the blue. Anyways, let me know in the comments, have you ever come across a creature that you cannot explain, or that just was out of the ordinary? Or know of somebody who has. Like I said, this thing was massive. And that's not the only thing that's happened up on that hill. And I'm sure if his family's still watching my videos, they're going to throw a fit. But I'll tell you something. Fritz used to say, my family don't believe anything I ever say, so I don't tell them nothing. They think I'm full of you know what. So he said that he never told them anything because they laughed at him and made a mockery of anything he tried to tell them, including, I want to head to the pond. The next story that I'll share with you that happened at his house, which will be much longer because it includes orangish reddish colored orbs, sounds in the woods, and another type of a creature that roams in the area of Missouri. I was just curious if there's anything at the pond tonight, and there's not. Other than the neighbor's barking dog. That's the preacher's dog, by the way, barking its crazy head off. This is Sunday night. I'm sure they're at church. So it's time to head back towards the house. And like I said, smash that like button, hit the, all the bells and whistles. I was going to go to a cemetery. It didn't work out today, but I want to get out and do more exploring, hiking. Even if it's not abandoned, you're going to see some hiking and stuff coming up. Yeah, you see that right there? That's the shadow of my car at the front door, okay? That's how close my car is to the front door, and somebody stole gas out of it. No joke. I'm not a happy camper. The people are that ballsy. Anyways, all right, guys, I'm going to sign off. And I was really hoping for some kind of little creature, or big, other than the deer eyes I saw at the very beginning that took off because they're like, humans are out walking around at night. And it's almost deer season again, so bow season just ended, or youth season just ended. Bow season's getting ready to start, so yeah, there's that. All right, guys. I'll talk to all of you guys down in the comments below. Bye, everybody.